by man reaches. $1 trillion tickers. $1 trillion tickers. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickers. Turning data to gold.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Ticket broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Richards.
Peace, blessings, financial freedom.
This is the pre-market briefing. So let's get into it. We're coming into this Thursday pre-market with major momentum across the market. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq are sitting near record highs again. So that's wonderful. The Dow Jones has hit 50,000 again. So that's wonderful. That is a major psychological level for the market. We also had some fresh labor data just come out at 5:30. The unemployment claims were forecasted at 205K. They came in at 200K. That's a slight beat, so it is better than expected. Now, will that continue to push the market higher? I think so, but we'll have to find out when we get on the charts. Remember, I track the headlines, give you the data and the levels, so you don't have to. This show is for education and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. All right, let's get into the mindset before we get into the market. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable. I am skilled. I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right. Let's get into our next segment. How y'all like this graphic? Ain't that clean right there? All right. All right, oil. What's going on with oil right now? The Brent crude has slipped below $100 a barrel, with traders watching headlines around a possible deal that could reopen the Strait of Hormuz. If energy pressure cools down, that can support broader market sentiment, especially if it reduces inflation pressure, y'all. All right, we had a bunch of earnings yesterday and in the pre-market, so let's go ahead and get into that. First up, AppLovin. We have 4 tickers that had earnings yesterday after market close. So AppLovin beat on earnings by 3.3%, beat on revenue by 3.8%. And as you can see, it is currently down 1.5% from yesterday's close. We'll see what happens at the open. Next, we have ARM Holdings. Beat on earnings by 3.1%, beat on revenue by 1.1%. Currently down over 6.5% from yesterday's close. Next, we have Fastly. Beat on earnings by 48.9%. Beat on revenue by 0.7%. And as you can see, this thing sold off hard. Currently down 25.6% from yesterday's close, y'all. Goodness. Next, we have Snapchat. Beat on earnings by 25.2%. Tiny beat on revenue, y'all. But as you can see, this one sold off as well. And it is down 8.8% currently from yesterday's close. Next, in the pre-market, We have McDonald's. Beat on earnings by 3.1%. Beat on revenue by 0.7%. Currently up almost 3% in the pre-market from yesterday's close. Next, we had Datadog. Beat on earnings by 18.1%. Beat on revenue by 4.8%. Currently up 28.8% from yesterday's close, y'all. Just incredible. Just incredible, y'all. Next, Planet Fitness. Ooh, look at that sell-off. All right, earnings. They beat on earnings by 17.6%. Beat on revenue by 12.9%. So the numbers look good, but the reaction wasn't good. The guidance must have been bad because it's currently down 20.5% from yesterday's close, y'all. And there was another one that had a nice reaction in the market. DoorDash, y'all. DoorDash beat on earnings by 15.7%, missed on revenue by 2.7%. You see that big candle after they announced those numbers. It's currently up 9% from yesterday's close. All right, next let's get into Robert Greene's daily law for today and how it applies to investing and trading. All right, title: Subtle Superiority Strategy. Daily law: if this is chronic behavior, you must not get angry or display overt irritation. Passive aggressors thrive on getting a rise out of you. Instead, stay calm and subtly mirror their behavior, calling attention to what they are doing and inducing some shame if possible. Today's law is about recognizing patterns instead of getting caught up in excuses. Some people use lateness, forgetfulness, missed deadlines, or repeated apologies as a way to control the relationship. The apology may sound sincere, but if the behavior keeps repeating, the pattern matters more than the explanation. The lesson is to stay calm, observe clearly, and respond with strategy instead of emotion. In long-term investing, the market will always have narratives, excuses, and distractions. A company may explain away weak results. Analysts may defend a stock that is not performing. Headlines may tell you one thing, while the actual trend tells you another. But the patterns matter. Revenue trends, guidance, margins, cash flow, and price reaction reveal the truth over time. Stay calm, watch the pattern, and do not let emotion or excuses control your decisions. When it comes to day trading, this law connects directly to execution. Price can fake you out. The stock can show strength for one candle and then fail. A headline can sound bullish, then the chart reads bearish. Your reaction: you cannot get irritated with the market. You cannot argue with the move. Stay calm, watch the pattern, and let price reveal the truth. The edge comes from responding with control instead of reacting with frustration. We're at record high momentum. We have the Dow touching 50,000 again. Unemployment claims came out slightly better than expected. We do have more earnings after the market closes today. Oil's pulling back. Stay patient, stay disciplined. Execution over emotion. Process over prediction. Now let's get back on these charts, y'all. All right, let's start with SPY. SPY currently in the pre-market at 735.39, which is all-time high territory. So to the downside support, we got yesterday's all-time high, which is 734.59. We got the pre-market low with 734.07. And we got 732.70. To the upside resistance, which is in price discovery land, we got the pre-market high at 735.95, 736.35, And if it just run crazy today, 739.80. Next, we got QQQ currently in the pre-market. It is in all-time high territory at 696.68. To the downside support, we got the all-time high from yesterday, which was 695.93. We got the pre-market low is 695.20, and then 693.58. To the upside resistance and price discovery land, we got the pre-market high at 698.11. Then we got 700. Well, I definitely would say that $700 is a psychological level, so we can't expect a rejection at 700. But if we reject and then retest and then break, if it just go crazy today, if the momentum continues, I got 705.05 as the next level. All right, we got the VIX currently at 1736. Nvidia was like, man, what Google talking about? You trying to take this number one spot? I don't think so. So Nvidia went crazy yesterday. Nvidia ran 5.7% yesterday, $11 yesterday. So salute to Nvidia for not giving up that number one spot, y'all. All right, Nvidia currently in the pre-market at 208.10. To the downside support, I got 207.40, followed by the pre-market low of 206.97, and then 205.50, and then 204. To the upside resistance, I do have a weekly level here at 208.30, followed by the pre-market high at 209.90, and then 211.20, and then 214.70. Next, we got Google currently in the pre-market at 402.50. To the downside support, we have yesterday's all-time high, which was 399.85, followed by 399.15, and then the pre-market low of 398.59. If it breaks that, 396.30. To the upside resistance, I have the pre-market high, which is in price discovery land of 403.63. And then I do have this level here, which is very close to it, 403.70, y'all. All right, next, we got Apple currently in the pre-market. It is right near all-time. Apple broke all-time highs in the pre-market, y'all. Woo! Can't wait to check my account today, y'all. All right, currently in the pre-market is at 288.70. To the downside support, we got the all-time high, which is 288.62, followed by 287.22, 286.30, and then the pre-market low of 285.99. Might as well say 286. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high, which is in price discovery land of 289, and then I got a 289.90 as the next level. Next, we got Microsoft currently in the pre-market at 419.15. To the downside support, I got 418.05, 415.75, and the pre-market low of 415.05. To the upside resistance, I got the pre-market high of 319.50, followed by 419.50, followed by 420.75, 422.20, and 424.27. Next, we got Amazon currently in the pre-market at 275.60. To the downside support, I got a 4-hour level at 275.15, followed by 274.98, which is a pre-market low, and then 273.30, 272.40. To the upside resistance, I got 276.50, which is the pre-market high, followed by 277.10, 277.80, and then 278.57, which is an all-time high. Next, we got TSM currently in the pre-market at 418. To the downside support, I got the pre-market low of 416.03, followed by 414.32, and then 409.50. To the upside resistance, we got the all-time high from yesterday, which was 419.70, followed by 421, and then the pre-market high of 422.44, and then if it just run crazy, 428.70. Next, we got AVGO currently in the pre-market at 423.05. To the downside support, I got 422.70, followed by the pre-market low of 422.02, and then 419.90, and then 418. To the upside resistance, I got 423.80, followed by 424.60, then a pre-market high of 426.97, and then 428.70. Next, we got Meta currently in the pre-market at 617.01. To the downside support, I got 616, 614, 613.70, and then the pre-market low is 611.37. To the upside resistance, it is pushing higher right now. The current pre-market is going to be 618. So following that, I got 620.20, followed by the bottom of the gap, which is at 620.82. All right, next we got Tesla currently in the pre-market at 405.77. To the downside support, I got 403.30, 401.80, $400.60, and then the pre-market low at 398.56. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 406.90, followed by 407.80, and then 411.80. Next, we got Walmart currently in the pre-market at 130. To the downside support, I got 129.80, 129.70, and a pre-market low of 129.56. To the upside resistance, I got 130.35, 130.40, and then 131. Next, we got Berkshire B currently in the pre-market at 469.80. To the downside support, I got 469.30, followed by the pre-market low of 469. And then 468.30, and then 467.28. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 470.87, followed by our daily level at 470.90, y'all. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Set those price alerts, and we'll be back at 6:30 for the market open. If you ever have any tickers that you want me to chart and give you some prices for the day or for the week, be sure to put those in the chat next time, or you can put them in the comments if you're watching this later. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. This is the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast, and I'm your host, Matt Riches.